Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look of A Prophecy Fulfilled, which is the third and final book in the Valinor trilogy. And I'm just going to show you some things, share with you a little bit about my writing process, and some difficulties I had, and kind of the unique and interesting way I ended up resolving them. So I hope you guys enjoy. So here we go. I'm going to start with my notebooks. And I do handwrite everything. I'm very old school. I like the feel of the pen and paper. I do use a typewriter sometimes as well, but mostly I use just notebooks, pen and paper, and I handwrite. My brain, I'm a pantser, so my brain kind of works slower. I don't have outlines or anything to work off of. So the slower motion of the handwriting or of the typewriter stays with my brain better than typing it on the computer, because I can type so fast on there that my brain cannot keep up with me, and I just sit there staring into space a lot of the time. So I have my two notebooks here that I have from when I was writing A Prophecy Fulfilled, full of the story of my writing. So what I do, how I handle this is when I get a good chunk written, I then go and type it up on the computer. And this kind of lets me do a little first edit. I don't take it really seriously. I don't nitpick at things. But if I'm typing something up and I think, oh, I could word that slightly better, I will change it. And it's nice because it does give you a slight, like I said, a slight tiny fake first edit almost. And then I also have my map here. There's no map in the book, but this is my personal, very, very crude map of Valinor, which I drew, or I don't even know if you would call it a drawing, but I made it when I was writing Celebethiel. And that helps me when I write for, obviously, spatial awareness, locations of cities, countries, the topography, for what the characters are experiencing when they're traveling. So that really helps me when I write. So I have that. Then when I'm done with the first draft, I print it out. Ugh. And I have the full manuscript printed out of A Prophecy Fulfilled here, which I usually do keep. I print it out multiple times, but I keep at least one for, I don't really know why, memento's sake, I guess. And then once that's done, I read through it and will mark edits. I like doing this again kind of by hand in person. This is just a small selection that I have. I'll go through, mark it up, highlight things. Red pen is my friend or enemy, depending how you want to look at it. Again, it helps me kind of have something physical when I'm doing the editing, especially the first draft. So I'll go through that, and then I will type those edits up and then print it out again using lots of ink and paper here. Print it out again. Then I'll usually read it through it again. I'll do some edits on the computer. Usually 2 or 3 times. I'll go back and forth with that process before I send it to my editors. And then once I get it back from the editors, I obviously go through their edits and suggestions. And then, of course, once it's done, we have the finished product. And as some of you may know, who my followers, the Valinor trilogy is my vanity. It is in hardback. It is my hardback series, which I needed just for me. I love reading hardbacks myself and wanted hardback. So eventually it will be released in paperback for those of you who prefer paperbacks. But I needed that for myself. So when I was writing A Prophecy Fulfilled, as I said, I am a pantser. I don't have any, the map is kind of all that I had beforehand. So it works for me. I'll sit down, and the characters really do lead me through the story. I have usually no idea of where I'm going or what's going to happen or what I want to have happen. The characters take me through it, and they basically tell me what they want me to write. But for Prophecy Fulfilled, that was not happening. And I was having such a difficult time when I was writing, but I didn't feel like it was anything of quality. And I felt like I was just spewing words on a page just to write something down and have words. And that's not what you want as an author. But I had no idea. The characters weren't talking to me, and I had no idea about the story, where I wanted it to go. It obviously is the last of the series, so it needed to be resolved. There couldn't be any cliffhangers like I like to do. Everything needed to be resolved, and I had no idea of how to go about doing that. And so one day I was just, I don't even know why, I think just out of boredom or desperation, I was looking through Demonza.com, who did all my covers except for Celavethiel. Every other cover was done by them. And I was going through the pre-made cover section. You know, you can either have them do it for you from scratch, or they have some pre-made covers that you can browse through. And that's actually how I got The Speaker, was also a pre-made cover, as well as Call to War. So I was just going through, and I saw the picture of the man behind the icicles and the snow, and my brain immediately just thought, that's Brendel. And then everything fell into place. I knew how to resolve the story, what the characters were going to do, how they were going to do it. Everything just kind of happened, and then everything was pretty much smooth sailing from then on. So as a pantser, sometimes you really have to get your inspiration from anything. And I think probably sometimes for planners might also need to do that as well. Inspiration, if you're an author, can really come from anywhere or anything. But I was just excited that I finally was able to resolve my difficulties when I was writing that. So that was my process for Prophecy Fulfilled, and kind of my process for everything, and my behind the scenes look. And I hope you enjoyed, and make sure you keep checking back. Thanks, guys.